You are now listening to Nexxlegacy Radio.
Good evening, Team Nexxlegacy, and welcome to Ladies Night Radio. I'm so excited tonight. We have an amazing actress that's coming on, lovely Nicki Micheaux, and I have my amazing co-host, Mr. Iambranded, is also in the building. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm more than good. So, with Nicki, I gotta tell you, being a fan of hers and being a supporter for what she does, it's an honor and a privilege to be able to have her on. And shout out to all you people out there listening, not just in the States, but of course all of our overseas people out there, Germany, Japan, Australia, all of our people that's showing a lot of love tonight, not just because me and Danaya are on Ladies Night Radio, but because of our guests. I would like to say the traffic that we get is, our normal traffic, but I can't say that because there's so many people online waiting to talk to this young lady and, wanting to hear her voice and wanting to know what's going on with her. And of course, she has a website that you guys and girls can check out, which is www.Nicki Micheaux.net, and you can follow her on Twitter at Nicki Micheaux as well. And we have the beautiful, the talented Miss Everything actress, director, mom, wife, daughter. I mean, there's a whole bunch of titles that this young lady has, and we have Nicki live on Ladies Night Radio right now. Welcome, my dear.
Good evening.
Thank you so much. What can I say? That's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Hey, I didn't even write that intro down. I just thought it off the top of my head real quick. So I
You're pretty
wanted
good.
to say hey.
I like you. We have to have you do all my intros. I like that.
Hey, what I'll do is this. I'll be your personal theme music person, and I'll just make sure I just throw some music in the background and just, and let it be what it is.
Like
exactly. I can do that.
Make it happen. I love that.
Nicki, what's going on, sweet lady? How you doing? How's life?
Oh, man, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. We just living life. I just finished up an independent feature called The Pack 2, which I really enjoyed working on that. And, I'm writing my next feature film that I want to direct, and I'm embarking on a passion project that I had set aside because I thought, well, it's just not meant for me, but I've decided to pick it back up. As you know, they're doing a Nina Simone picture.
Right.
And I have decided to, they don't have the rights with the family. So I've decided to pick this passion project back up because I wanted to do it about 5 years ago. I actually wanted to do it even before Nina died because I was actually going to Paris. And I wanted to try and meet with the estate and do that. But, I was young and fearful. But, I'm like, you know what? Sometimes you just have to follow through on something. And there's so many supporters out there who really feel like that I could bring a really great turn to this woman that I'm just, we're just going to see if we can put some money together and somehow get the blessing of the estate and make it happen in a way that I think would be just a fantastic film.
Right on, right on. That's definitely something to look forward to. And I'm going to start, and I'm going to just basically just throw everything I need to throw out there because, like I said, the intro doesn't really do you justice. I mean, you've done a lot in movies. You've done a lot on television, NYPD Blue, The Practice, The District, ER. I can go on and on and on. You've done so much, I mean, and you're doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes as far as producing and directing films and things of that nature. So I'm gonna start by asking, like, how do you still keep busy doing what you're doing for as long as you've done it? How do you still have the drive to get up in the morning and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to make this day a lot better than yesterday?
That part, that's a funny thing. I was probably born to be a storyteller and try to make films. I've only directed short films. I've never directed a feature before. But I think that the desire to tell stories, to I believe that great art, great movies has the power to show you something you didn't know, maybe change your life, maybe change your mind. And I so believe that I just keep going. I just like, no, someone has to say it. Especially as a black woman, you know, there's so much that hasn't been said. There's so much that hasn't been said. So I have so much passion about trying to get that voice out there. So it's kind of, that part's kind of easy to keep going. I mean, it's definitely a challenge, but honestly, I couldn't do anything else. I had a job once as a receptionist at Miramax Films, actually, and I remember answering the phones, and all I would do is sit there for 9 hours and answer the phone, and there'd be this pain that would shoot up my arm, straight up the back of my neck every time I answered the phone, and I knew I just couldn't work a real job.
Right. You're like, this is not working for me.
I have a headache. I can't come to work every day and have a headache. No, I'm just not one of those people. I was meant to do this kind of thing.
Amen to that.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like, artists know. They know, like, if you're sitting at work and you're just like, how many more? If you're counting down the hours, so when it's time for you to go home, counting down the minutes. Like, man, time's going backwards. There's something wrong with the job that you're in. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have the passion for it. Right.
4:59, I'm ready to go. Hit the voicemail button, I'm out the door. You know, come on. No, when you figure out what you're passionate about, if you're lucky enough, I think you have to be, I feel blessed that I do know what my passion is, that I do know what I feel like I want to say, so that the journey of trying to say it is so exciting that keeps you going. And, you know, not every day is a great day. Some days are, you know, just miserable failures. And some days you go, oh, look, I did this. But it's the journey. It's the desire and knowing that this is what's in my heart that I'm here to give the world, and just try. And it's the journey. And if you don't love the journey, it's not for you. Because if you're all about the results, like if you're waiting to get up there with your Oscar in hand, and that's the only thing that's going to motivate you, well, you know, it's about the day-to-day that I think is really important. So it's also, I think the hardest part is finding out what's the dream in your heart, not what somebody else's dream is, not what society says we're supposed to do. What's your dream in your heart? Because it was kind of, I think that's the key, because once you figure out what clicks for you, that's what keeps you going.
So what do you think holds people back from trying to live their dream and just so going on what the cliche is and all that kind of stuff?
What I think holds other people back or hold myself back?
Other people back.
I think sometimes we're afraid of our dreams. I think sometimes we're afraid to ask yourself what you really want. I think sometimes with all the voices out there saying do this, do that, or this is what you're supposed to want. You're supposed to want this car. You're supposed to want to look like this. There's all these supposed tos out there that you have to clear that clutter out and decide for yourself what do you want to do. And you have to shut the voices down. You got to shut it down. It's between you and God, that silent moment, and really a deep knowing. And it's not necessarily ego-driven. You know, and it could be something simple. You know, it could be, I want to raise my family, and that's my dream. And that's a beautiful thing. But, you know, some women may find that that's not supported out there. They're supposed to be doing this, that, and the other. But really, sometimes in your heart, if all you want to do is raise your kids and do that, be that, because that's a beautiful thing. You know? Absolutely.
I always look at it like when it comes down to just self-motivation. I mean, we live in a world where you would be amazed by, you know, your percentage as far as how many people probably don't have that self-confidence in what they do or what they want to do. I know a lot of people have aspirations about wanting to be an actor, actress, movie director, you know, whatever, but they don't take the necessary tools. They talk about it all day. Like, you can hear them talk about it to it blue in the face, but there's no action with what they do. And that's how I see it now. And what are your thoughts on the evolution of television? Because from the shows that I've mentioned that you were on, and you kind of see how things are nowadays compared to how it used to be, What are those the way that it is right now? How do you feel about it? Do you feel comfortable or?
Well, I think that television is a really wide landscape. I think that there's so much programming. There's so much really excellent programming in terms of the quality of the writing and directing. I mean, there's some amazing talent on television. I mean, I was just looking at the poster for Boardwalk Empire and Jeffrey Wright and all those amazing actors, on TV. There's just so much work on television, for actors and writers and directors. That's really solid, good work. And then there's also the unique thing about what's going on today. You can pick up your cell phone and shoot a webisode, and if you were about it and you were about that marketing and you were really pushing, I mean, if you get the mental image of MC Hammer selling CDs out of the back of your trunk, that's what YouTube is. You get out there and you really make it happen. You can actually have something very real happen off of YouTube. So I feel like it's wide open. It's wide open. If you know what they say, don't talk about it, be about it. It's really wide open for whatever you want to do. I mean, there was a movie shot with a cell phone that was nominated for an Oscar, a feature film shot on an iPhone. What are you waiting for? Really, what are you waiting for? You want to know how to shoot a film? YouTube. Robert Rodriguez Film School is on YouTube.
So do you think everybody then? But you're right though, Nikki. You are so right because the opportunity is in the palm of a lot of people's hands, but they just don't know how to play their cards, I guess you could say. But to me, I always feel like this too, though. Yeah, and I feel like this. Like a lot of people are blinded by fame, where they don't really think that something like these films can actually be nominated for an Oscar, so they tend to want to go whatever route they can just so they can be able to be in somebody's space. They want to be at a function. They want to do this. They want to do that. So, you're kind of fighting those kind of battles too, fame versus actually putting out good product, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, fame is just sort of this silliness byproduct of what you do. It's not about anything. I mean, the whole point is the work. The whole point is what you create. It's the whole other stuff. It's very, very easy to get caught up in ego, of course.
Right.
It's very, but that's not really what it's about. I mean, and I think personally it's an incredible responsibility. If you have a great deal of fame, it comes with a great deal of weight. But for the most part, I think if we all just if you focus on what you're trying to say and say it well, you want to try to do a good job and take it seriously. I find that so many young, new artists come to town and they're all starry-eyed about what they want to do and accomplish in Hollywood, but they're not taking their training seriously. It's not easy to make a project. Put some time and energy into learning the craft. Respect the craft, because it's the craft of acting and writing and directing. These are real. This is real hard stuff sometimes, and it's really about respecting it, getting an understanding of it, and putting your best foot forward. Your best foot forward. Not your cutest, tightest dress.
Acting, producing, directing is not as easy as somebody actually, trying to go make a song. Somebody that hasn't sung at all in life, trying to go make a hit record. It's a different deal because right.
Well, it's like when on American Idol auditions, they said, "Did you sing that for anybody? Did you practice before you decided to come down and audition on national television? I mean, did you think like this? And sometimes like I just know I can be famous. I just know I was meant to be a singer, and it's just like, did you take a voice lesson at all? Right. It's kind of like that. Are you halfway serious about this?
Right.
That's right.
But I think one thing that you were saying that which talks about YouTube and what that's done, I think that it's kind of a blessing and a curse, because something that can be like some quality actors can be on there, but then somebody that's fighting and acting crazy will get like all these views and all this, and then they get famous off of that. I think that's where the problem comes in. People think that, I have to act crazy in order to get attention. I have to be violent in order to pay attention to me on YouTube. in order for me to get, because people's goal is to go to YouTube, go to World Star, I have no idea why, but that's what people's goal is, and
tricky.
in order to do that, you gotta act crazy to do that, and like that's not what it should be.
Well, again, I think it goes back to you got to listen to your own heart,
Absolutely.
and make your own stuff. I mean, if you're going to go follow everybody who, for lack of a better phrase, shows their ass, then where are you trying to go? You have to listen to your own heart, because it's always something that's going to be chasing that thing.
Right.
And it might be, you might be the one to create the next, really wild and crazy thing that hits it, because it might be what you want to do, or you might want to do something else. I mean, you just have to be, true to yourself, because you can't chase what everybody else is chasing. You can't do what everybody else is doing.
I've seen enough class clowns in school throughout my lifetime to want to see it on television. So that's I'm just saying. I just want to see. So I mean, even some of the comedies, even sitcoms. Come on, Nicki. It's not how it used to be. It's not like how it used to be. That's why I tend to go back and look at some of the older ones, because some of the older ones to me is just like, even though I've watched it like 50 million times, I still laugh.
Still
because,
funny.
Yeah.
It still means something to me as far as, what they were trying to do back then too. So, not just sitcoms, but, just a lot of the different shows in general, even movies. You go back, a lot of people, like I said, I mean, I can go back and look at a lot of what you've done, because, what you've done is powerful, and people tend to forget your art form is how you make it. So a lot of people that do remember you, they remember you because of how you portrayed said character, right?
Right. Well, thank you so much. I mean, it's I've been blessed. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I've been blessed to have done some work with some of the best out there, and there's still the people that I've worked with on 6 Feet Under and The Shield. I mean, they're all doing out there some of the great shows that are on right now at this moment, and you get an opportunity to get great people writing great words. It's a blessing. It really is.
Now, I know you still have a lot of work to do as far as continuing your legacy that you're building for yourself, so other people can, like myself and thousands and millions of other people, appreciate. What, if you go back in your career so far, what is a role that you played that you felt like, hands down, I really just embodied everything about the character? I mean, I know you're going to say it a lot about what you've done in general, but if you can just take one character from anything that you've done on television or movies, which one would it be?
It's funny. That I've embodied a lot of the character. Probably Jen on Lincoln Heights. The funny thing about I have two I have to do you, because Jen on Lincoln Heights, because I had never played a character that straight before. And what I mean by, well, if you know my work, you know what I mean by straight. And it was interesting because it was so close to who I was, just
I got
personally, that it really was just like, it was so nice to get a chance to really play this really full dynamic woman. And as a black woman, it meant a lot to me, because I've spent so many times playing these kind of fringe characters. And with all these massive problems, and to play this really, dynamic, upstanding, amazing woman, and it was so much fun. And then on the flip side, like, I think the role I did right after that was this independent feature called Rain, where I played this really down-and-out mother in the Bahamas, and that character I gave, like, was really the opposite spectrum of who I was, and certainly the opposite spectrum of motherhood for Jen Sutton. And she was in that character. I dropped all of Nicki and became this woman, Glory, and it was a phenomenal experience. And I put them together because I think I wrapped on Lincoln Heights and flew down to the Bahamas and did Glory, and it was just like one of those strange, flip the script and boom, do this other thing, and it was phenomenal. For me, it's incredibly memorable performances, and
because if memory serves me correct, you played Glory in the movie Rain on back in '08, right? You were kind of doing both at the same time, right?
Yeah, I did. I think I did it right after the first season of Lincoln Heights. I did Glory.
Okay. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause Jen Sutton, woo, that was power right there, though. That was power. Now I love Lincoln Heights, and I gotta say, I mean, that I was gonna definitely pick Jen as the one, but I mean, you did a lot and continue to still do a lot of good work, and I just gotta say, it's good to be able to see you play a lot of different dynamic roles throughout your career too, and as far as diversity, when it comes to playing different characters in different films and things like that, what's your, I guess you could say, no-fly zone when it comes to portraying an actor or portraying a character in a role? Like, what would you not play?
That's interesting because I never used to ask that question until I had children who now watch me on television.
Right.
So there's certain, probably I wouldn't do any more nudity per se, not in the same way. But it's hard to say never. It's just about being how it's done, why it's done. So whatever I chose to do as an artist, I could sit my children down and explain it.
Right.
So, and that's a certain bar. So, to be able to explain it, but things that just don't really speak to me. I mean, I'm not really into like slasher horror movies. It's just not my thing. I just don't.
Right. Yeah.
Well, you know that myth too, anyway, though, Nikki. That most black folks usually die before the movie's over, anyway. So
Yeah. See, the whole thing's kind of a waste of time. Like, why am I here?
Right.
It's not my thing. Like, The Tattoo is actually a horror film, but it's not one of those slashers. It's more of a kind of like a thriller, and I play a detective, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. But
right on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can get. And real quick, Danaya, before you ask the question, the reason why I brought that up, as far as what would you not play or portray, there's been a lot of talk. I'm not sure if you've actually grasped it or caught wind of it online or anything like that. A lot of people have their own perceptions about playing certain movies, and we came off recently as far as having Django come out, and now they have The Butler, and a lot of people are playing a lot of you're going back in time through a lot of heavy racism and slavery and things like that too, and a lot of people feel like that's not relative in this day and age, which I completely disagree, because to me it's like a history lesson if it's done right. As far as letting some people out there, I just wanted to know your thoughts on just these slavery movies or different things like that.
I personally think that it's totally valid to play these parts. I think the problem is, we were also kings and queens in history.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And the problem is nobody's making those movies. Or nobody's funding those movies. It's not that nobody has the idea, but those movies don't exist in the landscape, so it's sort of like, I think as a black audience member, you're just like, what, man? That's what we got? That's our history piece? Where's my gladiator?
Good point.
What's up? What's up?
Good point.
And there's a lot of that. And see, and that's me as a writer. I would like to, go back and like, let's deal with some of the colonialism in West Africa and the revolutionary battles of the past, and like make that happen. But that takes a lot of, let's just say a lot. Let's just say it takes a lot. So I think sometimes what happens is people are sick of the same old. Like, when do we get to see the other side of us? Because, when you watch the English, like if you look at Game of Thrones or any of that King Arthur stuff, that stuff is cool. And it's fun, and you like, what's up? Why don't I get to be this badass queen with a bow and arrow?
Right.
And so I think that's the reason is like, so there's nothing wrong with a Django or a Butler. There's nothing wrong with that. I think the landscape just needs other stuff in it so we don't feel so unbalanced,
Well, if you write something with kings and queens and stuff like that, just know that I'm available.
All right. But that's no, because I love historical pieces. I love when I did the piece with Halle Berry, Their Eyes Were Watching God. I love playing historical pieces as an actor,
Right.
because
Right
you
on.
you so rarely get to lose yourself in a whole other world, a whole other time, and I really love it. So I would never not want to do any of those historical pieces, but I would like to get out of the American South.
I agree. And you know what? You made a perfect point, because you're right. I mean, there is so much more to the history, instead of going back in a time where it was painful for a lot of generations of African Americans too. So you made a good point.
Yeah.
Danaya, go ahead.
I think it's even more than that, but I was going to say, I know you brought up the Nina Simone movie that you were going to try to work on. Do you think the family had rework on it? Do you think the family had a problem with it because that's what they were trying to have played Nina Simone?
I don't know what their problem was, and I've only read just probably what you've read, just that the family didn't give the rights to it. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm hoping that there's room, because there's always more than one of everything. And so I just figure you put your best foot forward and try to present a vision of what you think would be true and authentic and interesting. Just and see if it's something that they jive with.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is going to be an absolutely beautiful story, so I hope you can get that together.
Yeah, so fingers crossed, and put your working boots on. Get to work.
Front row seat with some popcorn and ready for it. Nicki Micheaux is our guest on Ladies Night Radio. And, I got to ask you, how you feel about reality shows? What are your thoughts? Someone as established, and I love you to death, miss everything. So, I got to get your 2 cents in on reality shows. What are your thoughts?
It's like watching a car wreck. How can you turn away?
Oh, my God.
I mean, it's like, you get caught in, you might be channel surfing, and then you see the girl crying on the back, like, well, why is she crying? Well, hold on. You don't break up with her right now? But I never can get through a whole episode of anything. I watch like 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'm like, wow, there's something I should be doing, I'm sure, because this is obviously such a waste of time. But I'm not going to lie that I don't get caught up in, like, I'm just like, whoa, look at that. Because it's a train wreck. That stuff is very successful. I mean, how can you turn your head? I just got caught up in the season premiere Basketball-Wives, watching that Ocho Cinco and her, and I'm like, he put 6 stitches in the head. I'm like, dang.
Wow.
So, again, car wreck, and then you turn the channel.
Right.
Wow.
Is this something that's going to still be around? Because, I mean, I'm like you. You see a good car wreck, you're going to turn your head for a minute, and then you're going to drive away. I mean, it's just how it is. But do you think it's gonna stick around? Because I mean, I don't know about you. I just want it to go. Like, can it go? Like, we need more real shows with real actors doing real things and having real dialogue.
I don't really see it going, because I really don't see it going anywhere. I mean, that stuff
broke
is
my heart,
powerful.
Nikki. It just broke my heart.
It's not about, this is just my in Nicki Micheaux's crystal ball. I think people will always watch gossipy, salacious train wrecks, because they appeal to a part of our human nature that we can't deny exists. It's there. It's ugly, and it is what it is.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, a perfect example is, like, Jerry Springer has been on for God knows how long.
Hello. That's right.
I'm just like, and it's like, oh my God. And then, like, when you watch these reality shows, you're like, these people exist in real life. This is crazy.
And there's
that show is still on?
Jerry Springer is still on, yeah.
Those shows are scripted. Those reality shows aren't real.
Absolutely.
That's all scripted. That's some good writing.
No question.
So you're getting caught up in it. That stuff is written. It is written.
Okay, I get it now. As much as Miss Nikki, you broke my heart and said it's gonna be around, I get it. I understand. But let me throw this out there. Can they please change it from reality shows to improv? Let's do that.
Yeah, I know.
Improv,
it's not reality.
Because it's not. It's just not. Like, to me, I think documentaries about certain people in certain situations and stuff like that, that's reality. Like, you know, true to life stuff. Like, I get that, but, you know, the powers that be, Nikki, can you go ahead and make a call and tell them they need to change that from reality shows?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I have now decreed it. No. I'm gonna put out a tweet, and you'll see the changes ripple across.
Hey, there you go. There you go.
I'm gonna make sure we do that for sure. But I think.
But you know, they have their place. I mean, it's entertainment. It's entertainment, and you know, if it makes somebody, if it helps your wind down at the end of your day, hey, who cares?
Right. I mean, I think the one concern that I do have about it, like shows like what was it, Bad Girls Club. The whole purpose and premise when they first came out was to take these women that, you know, have deemed themselves quote unquote bad girls, you know, because they didn't get into fights and acting crazy and this and that. And at the end of this show, they were supposed to have common sense and like realize what they were doing was wrong and, you know, and have changed in their life. That was the very first premise of the show. Now the show is basically about who can stay in the house the longest. Now my concern about this is because of what they were presenting it as, they have drawn a really young audience. So now young girls think it's cool to fight and put it on YouTube and don't realize that causes problems because now you can catch a case. You're not getting a kid off the show. You're going to jail. You're going to have a record. This is going to affect you for the rest of your life. That's where I think the problem comes in because there's this misconception that this quote-unquote reality is
Danaya, you be watching Bad Girls Club too, huh? Danaya, you watch Bad Girls Club?
Hold on, wait. I used to. I ain't gonna lie. I used to back in the day.
You used to watch Bad Girls Club?
Yeah, but see,
so that's how you know. So that's how you know about it. Then, okay, I got you. Nikki, go ahead with it.
I
still think, you know, no matter what's out there in on TV or in the music, you still have. There still needs to be some responsible people in charge of these young adults. Called parents.
Amen to that.
Because there's always going to be some nonsense. There's always going to be that kid who ain't got no sense that's like, you know, trying to drag people down the bad road. And the honest thing is still, parents have to parent. And because we can't police all this artistry or other people's children or whatever. You got to parent your child and explain to them all that you see right there. There's a whole lot of nonsense, and let me catch you doing it. You know,
exactly.
That's true.
You got to be real clear about it because it's not like we all didn't grow up with people doing bad things and not knowing about it. But you knew that wasn't supposed to be. You knew it wasn't supposed to be you. You knew better.
Right.
I mean, so we can't give up responsibility for it all. And yes, is it harder now? I think than when I was growing up because of all of the imagery out there. Yeah, I think it's definitely challenging. But what else can you do?
Right. The problem that we have now is that too many parents, not only are they not parenting, they're the ones holding the camera. They're fighting and posting on YouTube, but I'm just like,
I can't say nothing about crazy. That's just plain old crazy.
You know,
true that, very
true.
True.
What I'm saying? Like, yeah, so, I mean, it definitely does go back to parenting. Absolutely goes back to parenting. The village.
Well, I think a lot of what we do. I think a lot of what we do goes back to parenting and how you're able to police certain things. It's just like watching television. And, Nikki, you got kids, so you know. It's like, you know, there's certain things that your children will watch. Reality shows, I dare somebody's kid to tell me something about a reality show. Like, please, I got a 10-year-old daughter. There's no way that she's going to be understanding exactly who's on a certain reality show that's not meant for her eyes and her ears to see and hear. It's not going to happen.
I remember one was on with my daughter, and I specifically used it as a teaching moment. I go, you see all that right there? That's a whole lot of nonsense. And I broke it down like, this is why we don't do things like that. That's really mean. I go, yes. You see how silly they look? Yes. Yeah, that's why you don't ever want to be caught looking like that. No, it's actually because you can go both ways with it, but no, they don't. There's a parental lock on your television, people. You're in control. But, you know, parenting takes time. You got to put time and energy into your kids. Otherwise, you won't have any control over what they're listening to, what they're seeing. I mean, you know, my daughter's talking about a cell phone so she can download stuff. I'm like, yeah, no. I don't think so.
No.
You don't need none of that. I'm like, for what? What you need? Who you calling? Why?
Exactly.
Like, what you
And
doing?
that's the problem. And that's
like,
the problem we have
Mom,
all those kids with cell phones now.
She's like, I want to FaceTime on your phone. I'm like, no, you use the landline.
No.
You'll be fine.
Right.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. Super Nicki, Super Mom, Nicki Micheaux is our guest on Ladies Night Radio. A couple of quick questions before we let you go. And people, go ahead and follow her on Twitter right now. Not now, but right now, at Nicki Micheaux. MICHEAUX. And also hit up the website as well, NickiMicheaux.net. And when it comes to, we talked a lot about just in general, just how the evolution of television and movies have gone, and to the audience as well. Do you feel like there's going to be, or there should be more emphasis on helping our young filmmakers really kind of blossom, and getting the support from some of the mainstream filmmakers as well? Like, do you see that marriage coming soon? I know you talked earlier about the YouTube and, you know, doing movies on your iPhones and stuff like that. Do you see that marriage coming when one day we can be able to say, you know, some of the big wigs, these filmmakers, is actually working with some of these ones that isn't as big yet?
Well, you know, the people that I do know, some people out there who do have mentor younger people who are already doing that, and I think it's just about you, whoever you are, you know, picking up your camera and getting out there and doing the best you can and making connections and shaking hands and finding yourself a mentor, and that can help guide you and take you to the next level, whether that mentor hopefully can be someone that you can actually shake hands with. But, you know, a lot of these big guys are saying quite a bit. They're dropping a lot of knowledge in their DVDs, in the specials, and some of them even are dropping a lot of knowledge on YouTube. So there's information out there, and there's also programs out there all about bringing young people, I shouldn't say young, new people into the business, but it's challenging. A lot of people want to try to break in, so it's not, you know, you definitely got to be you really have to have be I want to say perseverant, but I don't think that's a word.
No, that's your word, so that works. So
persevere. Don't give up. Keep knocking on that door. Persevere.
Amen to that.
That's funny.
That's it, though. That's it. You got that. You're good. You're good. Danaya, you got another question for Nicki before we let her go?
I do.
I could talk to Nicki all night, though. I'm just saying, like, me and Nicki, we can go chop it up all night. It'll be cool. But see, I know your kids and your husband are probably like, hey, you've been on this interview a little bit too long. Is this an interview or what? Like, go ahead, Danaya.
When do you think that people's attention span became so short? Because now it seems like people are so focused on the 15 minutes of fame as opposed to trying to build a legacy. So when do you think that occurred?
Build a legacy. I don't know. I think everybody, isn't it human or American nature, you want everything quick and fast? I mean, that's why we can't lose weight, right? Because we want the quick diet. We don't want to actually change our lifestyle. We want to be do the 30-day thing and then be magically fit. Yes. I think 15-minute fame is the same thing. Like, how quickly can I get it, as opposed to, no, this is a career. It's going to do for the marathon, for the long haul. It's something about our human, maybe I want to say it's American. I think it's part of our American culture that get it now, do it fast. It should be easy and dirty if necessary, and which is it's just kind of unrealistic. It's just all this American stuff, I tell you.
Uh-oh. It's just American stuff.
No doubt. And Nicki, it is an honor and a privilege to be able to have you on. And once again, can you go ahead and tell the listeners that, for one, it is really you, and for two, where can they go social media-wise to hit you up and say hello?
Well, yes, it's really me, Nicki Micheaux, and please, I would love to have you guys come to my website, NickiMicheaux.net. And if you want, you can definitely drop your email to me, and I can keep in touch with you. And I'm always on Twitter at Nicki Micheaux, and like my Facebook page, which you can get to all off my website, NickiMicheaux.net.
Amen to that. And also, before I let you go, I want to shout out Miss Amy for doing all that she does with GIC Public Relations as well. So we definitely want to send a big shout out to Amy and follow her on Twitter as well at GIC Amy. And yes, please come back and keep us posted, because it's just like I said, and I told you this off air before we went on air. I've been a big fan before, so now that we've had this 30-40 minute conversation, I'm even a bigger fan. So you've been reached thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of people just talking to us like you are so humble and so driven, and it's easy to get inspired by you. And before I let you go, that's one thing that I want to make sure that it's a big difference between role models and being inspired by. And I think people definitely need to get inspired a lot more instead of making sure that they base a lot of stuff on role models. Like, be inspired by somebody. And Nicki is definitely that person. And I just, I'm definitely going to continue to follow your career being a fan. And I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure. Thank you. It was a pleasure. I had fun. You got the fun. Anytime.
Nicki rocks. She rocks. I told you, we can hang out with Nicki all day. I'm telling you.
Right?
Like, I hate that she gotta go. Like, I really do.
I swear.
So that means you gotta come back though, right?
I'll come back next month. Just let me know, because we have to have updates on the progress of whatever.
Thank you.
Well, here's where we are. Because
we're gonna get like monthly. We're gonna get like monthly radio. See, I'm already excited. Like.
Right?
Can't you hear it from the sound of my voice? I'm thrilled. Like, woo!
Super.
Hot.
Yeah, we can all check in, and everyone can say, "This is what I did the last month on my project." You got to keep it moving.
There you go.
You got to have some accountability. Bring your stuff to the table. What did you do over the past 30 days to move forward?
That's what I'm talking about.
I love it. Blessings to you, and send my love to the family, and thank you for inspiring all of us, not just me and Danaya, but all the listeners listening tonight. And you are a testament on what a legacy is. So thank you for doing all that you do.
Thank you so much. Y'all have a good night.
You do the same.
Thank you for listening to the #1 radio station for the people.